Good morning. Ooh. Hit the button too many times there. There we go. Yes, I'm still coughing. Sorry. Bit coffee and spluttery. If you don't like coffee and spluttery noises, you might want to skip the stream. Anyway, good morning. I'm Romany. This is RhomanysRealm, and I'm on a quest, well, a side quest, to get back into journaling somehow. I don't really know how I journal, or what I journal, or what I want to journal, or anything. So here we are. That brings us up to date. Yesterday, morning Susan. Yesterday I did a... Whoa. Hang on, it's Thursday, isn't it? Do you know, I woke up this morning absolutely convinced it was Sunday. Absolutely convinced. And no, I don't know why my head suddenly keeps getting in the way of the camera. Absolutely convinced it was Sunday I was this morning. Do I know why? No. That's where we are. I thought it was Sunday. No. I knew it was Sunday. That's how convinced I was. I knew it was Sunday. Right. So, let's try that again. Tuesday, we went through the whole, what book do I use? Thing that you do. Yesterday, we started doing I had started a layout and I finished it off, and I started doing a couple of lists, and I caught up my book lists and all that kind of thing. I kept this because I just wanted to make sure that I'd written all these down before I throw that away. Oh, and we also added elastic to this book because it didn't have elastic. So the very first half hour of yesterday's video is how to add an elastic to a book. Morning, Min. Okay. Oh yes, I've got my Stephen King book list to figure out. Okay, so here's where we're up to. Quick look-see. There we go. All the books I read in the first half of the year. I'm keeping a list here of the books I've read second half of the year, and I will do this again and print it out, and there we go. All the books we read this year. Boom. This was something I salvaged from my Hobonichi when I took it out to use in my Filofax planner. I had already set these up, so I kept them and put them in my journal. Physical book list, audiobooks. I'm mostly an audiobook girl. I've got to be doing something with my hands, and you can't do that if you're working things. Cody, hi there. Happy time zone. Yeah, it's a bit early for you, isn't it? Oh, it's not too early. It's -5 hours for you, isn't it? Again, because the time zones have rejigged themselves. Anyway, this is a series of books that I'm currently reading. So it's separate to this because I wanted to track which series I'd finished and which ones I hadn't. I want to do a list of Stephen King's books. I found one, I just haven't printed it out yet. Looking at how it's going to print, I might actually just write it out. There's 77 books. Morning, Maria. It's 8 a.m. Oh, that's okay. That's not too bad, is it? If you're a morning person, it's not too bad. If you're a 1 o'clock in the afternoon person like me, I'm glad I'm on UK time. During yesterday's live, a book arrived that I think you talked about, The Great Book of Journaling. The Great Book of Journaling. Oh, hang on. A big, thick, heavy, chunky book. Is it? Yes. I don't know where it is offhand, and I don't want to go off and start rummaging around and cause a crafter lunch. But I will make a note of it. The Great Book of Journaling. I've got literally hundreds of books. 5 a.m. Min, are you crazy? Go back to bed. Unless you're already in bed. In which case, that's fine. Yeah, the Great Book of Journaling. What I'd like to do with this series, because it's going to be a series, is kind of show you different books that might give you ideas of not what I'm going to do necessarily, or what you could do, you should do, or anything like that. But I've got so many books on journaling. I've got books on journaling that are out of print. And I just feel like it would be worth sharing a few and letting you see what kind of options are out there. Because there are two types of people. There are the people who have already decided in their head what journaling is. And anything that doesn't kind of fit that mould, they tend to shy away from. And then there's others who are like, but what is journaling? Tell me what journaling is so that I can do it. And there is no right answer for either type of person, because journaling is what you want it to be. If you can't draw, you can't draw. You don't have to draw. If you like to write, that's fine. Write as much as you want. Write as little as you want. Write in different handwriting. Learn to do calligraphy. Whatever you want is fine. Oh, you can't really draw, but you kind of like to doodle stuff? Well, doodle stuff. Do cutesy little doodles in the corners of your pages. Or to separate out headers. Use pretty colours. Do whatever you want to do. You don't have to have all your pages looking consistent. You don't have to have everything uniform. Unless you want it to be that way. If you want it to be that way, then by all means, pick a colour scheme for your notebook and off you go. Use a bullet journal format. Make pretty layouts. Use stickers. Don't use stickers. Everything is up to you. The key to journaling is just that you do it regularly. See, I said you do it regularly. I didn't say you have to do a page a day. I didn't say you have to have a layout every day, or you have to do art every day, or you have to do anything every day. You can do it when you want to. You can do as much as you want to. You can do 9 pages in one day and not touch it for a week. You have to do what works for you. For those of you familiar with my Patreon, that is my tagline over there. I don't want you to do things like me. I want you to do things like you. I'm just here to give you ideas. But this particular side quest is a bit of a journey for me, because as I explained at the top of Tuesday's video in quite in depth, I fell off journaling during the pandemic, having been an avid, I hesitate to say journaler, notebook keeper. I carried an A4 notebook and a pen around with me absolutely everywhere most of my life, right from back when I was in junior school. I carried a notebook around with me, and I made notes, and I doodled, and I drew, and I stuck things in, and I did all sorts of stuff with it. And that is how I journal. And I want to get back to it, but I'm struggling. And I don't think I'm alone. And November seems like a good time to do it, because it's quiet. And it's that pause before December hits, and suddenly you're like, oh, let's do December daily. Oh, hang on a minute, I don't know how to do that. You can figure out all the teething issues of, okay, I've got a new notebook. What pens work in this book? What do I like using in this book? How do I like doing things? Do I want to include this? Do I want to include that? How do I want to do this? You've got well, not quite a month now. 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks to kind of experiment and play with stuff and figure things out before December hits, because the temptation is either in December or in January. Those who are drawn to journal grab their new books and off they go. And a few days later they lose motivation because they haven't really thought it through. They just know they want to do something. And there's nothing more frustrating, which is where I am and have been for a while now. There is nothing more frustrating than having the itch to do, no matter what it is. You've got the itch. And those of you who get the itch know what I'm talking about. Hands up in chat if you know what I'm talking about. You get the itch and you want to be doing, but you don't know where to start, or you don't quite get going, or you don't know what you want to do, or you can imagine yourself doing it, but somehow it's not happening. There's a lot of us out there who have that trouble. I don't normally have that trouble. I usually just grab a pen and have at it, you know. But I may not have picked the best week to start journaling or restart journaling, because I do tend to start with what's going on around me, or around, you know, major events or anything like that. And honestly, I don't want to. Caveat, okay? I don't have my sticker up. I should have my sticker up. Normally I have a sticker just here. Safe space sticker. This is a RhomanysRealm, all my areas, completely safe place for everybody. You can have your opinions, just don't be mean to other people about it. You can say what you think, just don't do it in a respectful way. Don't start arguments. Don't annoy me, because I will kick you out. Really don't annoy Cody, because she will absolutely kick you out. She has zero tolerance. I mean, I'm quite forgiving. Tyler's quite forgiving. Tyler likes to ask me first. Katie likes to ask me first. So does Mika. Cody's like, oh, you gone. She's our last line of defence. So definitely don't upset Cody. But no, we're trying to avoid all the turmoil that's going on in the world by having a safe space. And if that counts as sticking our heads in the sand, then call me an ostrich. I don't care. It's not that I don't have sympathy or empathy for all the people who are horribly, horribly affected by whatever the fuck is going on across the pond. Like, you had one job, America. I have very strong opinions on it. But because I have very strong opinions, I tend to not go there. So this safe space, come here for some respite from all the drama and the horror and the handmaid's tale of it all, and let's just have a little pocket of fun on the internet where we don't have to think about those things. So no, I'm not putting any of that in my journal. I did make a note in my 5-year. Hi, Miss Maddie. How are you doing? Miss Maddie's here. Belly rubs. Thank God for ink and paper. Exactly. I do have strong feelings, but I don't need to share them with other people, because the people who also have strong feelings either completely agree with me or completely disagree with me. And I don't want to fight with people on the internet, and I don't want to add to the melodrama on the internet. There are enough people having genuine trauma without everybody else adding to that. So, safe space, be nice, be kind, and don't piss off Cody, because she will kick you out. Don't mention the T word, because I will kick you out. Belly rubs from Addie anytime she wants them. And let's be ostriches for 2 hours, 3 times a week. Right? So, yeah, we won't be doing any current political news in this journal, because who needs that negativity? right now. Isn't there enough of it already? Like I said, I've made a note in my 5-year journal of my displeasure, as it were. Oh, belly rubs from Maddie from Archie. Hi, DC. Miss Mally, Archie's giving you belly rubs. She's having her breakfast. She doesn't care right now. Right, so back to the agenda. Motivation. I saw a reel yesterday, because you know what the algorithm's like. The minute you start looking up one thing in one place on anywhere, all of a sudden everything orientates to that subject. I saw a reel with some dude talking about journaling. And he outright said, you have to have a motivation for keeping a journal. And he didn't mean the motivation to keep a journal, like you need to want to. He said you have to have a motivation. What is your motivation in keeping a journal? Are you keeping a record? Are you noting events? Are you exploring your own thoughts and emotions and this and that? And I'm like, do I though? Do I though? Do I need a reason? Which is basically what he was talking about. Do I need a reason for keeping a journal? To me, that's like when people come up to you and say, but what's the point? And I'm like, well, why does there need to be a point? I want to do it. What's the point in going out drinking every Friday and getting so hammered you don't remember getting home? You want to do it. Do you have a motivation? I mean, you might have an underlying trauma, I'm just saying, or alcoholism, but just because you do it doesn't mean you have a motivation for doing it. Sometimes you just want to, right? Why are you wearing the colours you're wearing today? I mean, in my case, I'm wearing black because I don't own any other colour. Literally, don't. I've never worn anything but black since about, well, a long time. I've tried branching out into like purple or red or, you know, other dark colours that I like, but no, black is my jam. That we are a goth. This is what we do. This is what we do here. So that's a thought for the day. Do you have a motivation for keeping a journal? A reason for keeping a journal? If so, can you narrow it down to like a sentence or a paragraph? If you can, write that shit down, because that's a paragraph in your journal you didn't have before. And if you can't, do you need one? Do you even need a reason? Should we do a poll? Let's do a poll. I love the interactivity on this stuff. How do I do a poll? There's a add. They've changed everything around. Start poll. So we're going to do you have a reason to journal? Yes, no, not sure. Do I need one? There you go. So poll is up. For me, and you know, your mileage will vary, of course. I don't need a reason. I just have to want to. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. If that itch that we were talking about, if that itch is there to grab a pen and start, then I'm in. Is that a reason? No, I don't think so. 'Cause I wanna is not really a reason, I don't think. It's not what I would call a reason. Because I can. Not really a reason. Just reading a Stephen King book, Dolores Claiborne. Oh, that's one of my favourites. Not sure about it. MC is rambling a lot. Yeah, there's a reason for that. Stick with it. It's characterization. Stephen King's books are very, very conversation driven. So at the moment we're on over half. Yes, I have a reason that I journal, which is fair enough. I don't. Some people have just want to keep a record of things. Some people want to leave something behind when they're not here anymore. Some people want to have something they can give to their kids. You know, everybody has different reasons for doing it. I don't have anybody to leave journals to or anything like that, and nobody's going to care. They'll probably end up in landfill. But I just want to. I always have. It's what I do. Cody says, I don't think you need a reason to start, but you might need a reason to keep going. Keep consistent. Yes, that's true. That is very true. The motivation to keep going, because I can and because I want to, is not necessarily going to keep you going or keep you consistent or keep you coming back to it regularly. My favourite person on the planet, David Tennant, was asked a question in an interview a couple of weeks ago about acting. And the question was, what would you say to someone who is considering giving up acting? And he said, if you can imagine giving it up, give it up. And for me, that's like journaling and art. If you can imagine giving it up and not bothering, give it up. Do something better with your time. Do something that you're going to be more consistent and interested in. I cannot imagine not keeping notebooks, not constantly writing or drawing or painting or doing something in a book. I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine a life without that. For me, it's a compulsion. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. I have to. I can't imagine not doing it. That's me too. Yeah. Had some list ideas yesterday. I wrote down... Oh, there's the recommendations. Right, let me just check I wrote everything down off here. I did. Oh. I'm going to put this down on recommendations. It doesn't need to go on recommendations, but I can throw the post-it away. And then I can grab that book for next week. So, oh, yeah. Sidequested on myself. I thought I would show you a variety of books about journaling, about record keeping, about this notebooking thing that we do, whatever we call it, to give you some inspiration and ideas and stuff. So I will grab that great book of journaling. Am I likely to enable some of you with going on Amazon and adding things to your Christmas wish list? Probably, but you know, it's nearly Christmas. Oh, you don't celebrate Christmas? That's okay. Put it on your birthday list. That's fine. Right? I didn't pull a book out for today. I do have one though. I know I have one right here. In fact, I have two. They go together. They're probably a bit dusty. I think they've been down here for a while. Yeah, they're a bit dusty. Hang on. Everything is a bit dusty here. I live in an area where it's basically an old pottery area. So there's a lot of brick dust, so there's a lot of pottery dust. It's everywhere and everything. And, you know, you can literally wipe down all your surfaces and 10 minutes later they're covered in dust again. So everything gets a bit dusty. Okay. I'm not a troll. Just everything gets dusty. Hi, Karen. Sometimes I think people are under the impression that they need to spend a lot of money on supplies to start journaling. Yes. Or with anything. Honestly, with anything. You don't. You just need something to write on and something to write with. I say write. That could mean draw. Bare minimum for a journal kit, I would say get a notebook. Any notebook, it doesn't matter. Composition notebook will do. Or a pad of paper. Pad of paper would be fine. You can turn it into a book later if you want to. Composition books are cheap. Get them during the school run. A book. A pen that you like to write with and that works on the paper that you've chosen. A backup pen, which I would suggest have something different. So if you like writing in fountain pen, you want fountain pen friendly paper. Doesn't have to be amazing quality, just not bleed through and run and everything else. And then have a ballpoint pen, a cheap ballpoint pen that you carry with you, in case your pen runs out of ink, right? Or make sure you've got spare cartridges if you're that way inclined. I like to have one of these. This is what I carry with me habitually, is one of these. 4 colours of pen. If I run out of one colour, I've got 3 other colours. In fact, one of the ones I've got is the one I carry most. I think it's on my other notebook here. Nope, I've put it somewhere. Whoa, oh, it's there. Duh. Funnily enough, it's on my journal. This is a Bic 4-way pen. Not a 4-colour pen, a 4-way pen. This has black, blue and red ink, and then it also has a pencil. One tool. They're about £2.50 in the shops. It's even got an eraser on the end. It's a mechanical pencil, so you don't have to sharpen it. And you can buy replacement things for them now, so at least for the black one. I mean, I've never actually managed to run out any of the other colours. But the black one I do tend to run out, and you can buy replacements for them these days. So, that will do. That, your book or pad of paper, a small pair of scissors, or some kind of straight edge that you can tear things against, so that you can, these are really handy because they've got serrated edges and they've got straight edges and they've got a ruler. So, you know, if you want to cut something out or cut it down and put it in your book, then who needs scissors, right? A little glue runner of some sort, glue stick, mini glue stick, or a glue pen. You can get those too, and that's pretty much it. I mean, that's all I'd have. Some kind of glue, something to write with, something to write on. And if you feel you need it, some way of cutting things out if that's something you think you need. And honestly, you could go in the dollar store or the pound shop and get a pair of nail scissors, and that'll work. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. You don't even have to have a glue stick. You could just have some tape. A single roll of washi tape. Decorative tape. Stick things in with tape. You know, it doesn't have to be a big elaborate thing that costs a fortune. For many, 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 many years, I used one of these. It's a C. White of Brighton cartridge paper sketchbook. They're about, I think this one is about, well, back then they were about £4, but we're talking the 80s. And a ballpoint pen. That was it. That's what I used. And I always had a glue stick in the bottom of my bag and a pencil somewhere. And that was it. Anyway. How's our poll doing? Let's see. Oh. Trying to figure out how to open the poll without ending the poll. Do you have a reason to journal? 46% yes, 15% no, 8% aren't sure, 31%, so 1/3 are, do I need one? Hello, my people. That's me. I haven't voted. It won't let me vote. But yes, that's me. Do I need a reason? Why do I need a reason? Explain to me why I need a reason. I wanna. Anyway, let's do a quick look-see at some books that might inspire you. These are more arty books. So I have all sorts of books, from books that go over the history of books, which is one I looked at yesterday, artists' journals, writers' journals, historical books, commonplace notebooks, all sorts of everything I've got. So don't think that because I'm showing this book, this is how you should journal. If you want to journal like this, by all means, get the book. Go and learn how to do it. Very simple drawing. Yes, it looks like it's complicated, but it's not complicated. Look at the drawings. Okay, that's not complicated. Just coloured it in, just added some shading. Boom, done. So this is Samantha Dion Baker. She's got 2 of these books. This is a sketch journal guide. It's very much along the lines of Danny Gregory type stuff. Bear in mind she is an artist, an illustrator, so she does a lot of things like typography and fancy writing and stuff like that, but she also draws very well. She is a watercolour artist, but also she's very much in favour of, if you want to just write. You don't have to write in straight lines. If you want to write fancy, you can write fancy. If you want to use different pens, if you want to write along the edge of the page, do a quick doodly sketch of your dog. Now, some people will be looking at that sketch and going, oh, I couldn't do that. What are you talking about? Well, fine. You can't draw. Take a photo of Waffles. Stick a photo in. Okay? Get his paw print. Put some washable ink, non-toxic ink on his pad. Put a paw print in. This paw print belongs to Waffles, you know? Draw a book, which is basically a rectangle, and colour it in, and write on the names of the books you're reading. Draw your corner store, pattern from a duvet cover. A pattern from a duvet cover. I mean, there's all sorts of things in here. This is more inspiration. This is more, here's what I do and how I do it. My gripe with this book is that the first 60 odd pages are dedicated to, here's all the things that you're going to need. Tools and materials. And why I do it. I think that's a little unnecessary. I think that's encouraging people to feel like they have to have a watercolour set and this and that and everything else. Sure, if you want to learn how to paint with watercolours, grab a cheap watercolour set and a water brush and off you go. But you don't necessarily need to have all this stuff, and this book kind of implies that you might want it, which is a little bit consumery for me. Give a kid a notebook and say, here, keep a journal, and watch them thrift the house looking for pens and pencils and crayons and using whatever comes to hand to draw. They will present you happily with a picture of, this is you, I drew you, and you'll have 5 legs and green hair, and they won't care because they've drawn you, and nothing will tell them that they have not drawn you. 1 second, the doorbell's going. Ooh, ow, Stiffney. About? Hey, what are we barking about? Good girl. Sorry about that, Amazon. Yeah, so Karen's point, sometimes people are under the impression that they need to spend a lot of money on supplies to start journaling. I blame books like this, where there are literally 30 pages of tools and materials. Why? If you're an artist, you've probably already got this stuff. And if you're not an artist, you don't need half of it. If you're just getting started, that's overwhelming and expensive. Just grab a couple of colours of pen, or maybe a ballpoint pen and a pack of cheap kids' felt tips, and use that. You don't need to have all this stuff. Why? That said, the rest of the book is good. She talks about the inspiration, where she gets inspiration from, how she will... Oh, lists. Things you can draw. Your favourite dress. Tickets from a cinema. So stick the ticket in and then draw the ticket. Or draw the flyer or whatever. Quotes you like. Draw your cup of coffee with a motivational quote on it. Draw your car. Draw the library. Draw the shop you went to. Stick a map in. Mark on when you went. Go and visit your friend and draw their dog. I mean, I'm down for that. So, you know, when you look at this as a whole, it can be quite intimidating because you're like, oh, I can't do lettering like that. I can't do that. What on earth? But actually all of these are brand labels. That's just copying the labels off the tin. And guess what? If you start copying the labels and trying to do the work, do the writing like it is on the tin, the more you do it, the better you get at it. I always say in my classes, if you haven't drawn or done lettering or whatever, if you haven't done it since you were 10 years old, expect to do it like a 10-year-old. Lower your expectations on what you'll be able to do. But try. then the more you try, the better you'll get at it. Thank you, Maria, for atting me when you have questions. Because, yes. What are your thoughts on the Artist's Way and morning pages? Well, I do have thoughts. It's like the 12-step program for people who want to do stuff. I don't think it's necessary. I think morning pages can have their place, but I also think forcing yourself to do 3 pages a day, whether you want to or not, is not necessarily a good thing. I don't think you should have to force anything. Oh, sorry, I'll put the books there while I'm wittering so you can get the names. And it's Samantha Dion Baker. I've done the Artist's Way, so I'm not talking from a perspective of I kind of looked at it and went meh. I actually did, I think it's chapter 8, the finance chapter. The minute they mentioned maths, I was like meh. As soon as it involved looking at your finances, I'm like no, I bailed. So I didn't finish the Artist's Way. There's my caveat. It's very God Squad. It's a little bit like Alcoholics Anonymous for notebook writers. I found it both very restrictive and a little bit overthinking things for me. You start me on a path of overthinking things, I will overthink you out of the ballpark, down the road, into the next city and back again. And we'll take the scenic route. So I prefer not to use books like that. If you are the kind of person who needs a workbook to work through and be told, look, do this, then do this, try this for a few weeks, then do chapter 1, take your time, set yourself a timetable, do chapter 1, however long it takes you, make your notes, do this, do that. If you're that kind of person, then it's great. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. I want to be able to open a book and go, okay. Ooh, writing labels from... Oh, let's go in the kitchen and see what labels we've got and copy those into our journal. That's me. I'm a visual person. I do not want to be bogged down with writing tons of stuff and 3 pages of brain rot every day. I'd rather have a couple of cups of coffee and play with the dog. So I think if you're tempted to do the Artist's Way, here's my advice. If you're tempted to do the Artist's Way, pick up a cheap second-hand copy, borrow it from the library, whatever. Give it a quick read through, see if it's your kind of thing. And if it's not, pass it on to somebody that you think it might be, or send it back to the library. And if it is, either use your second-hand copy or buy a proper copy, an up-to-date copy, because she has done ones that are more up-to-date. Like I think the most recent printing includes digital and phone and all that kind of stuff. It includes social media things and things like that. So she has updated it several times. Get yourself the most updated copy and work through it. But try it first. Check it out first. Go to a bookstore and look at it. Some bookstores have coffee shops. Oh, we've got a Waterstones that has a coffee shop underneath where you can take a book. You can pay the price of the book. Just pay the price of the book. Okay. You take the book downstairs. You can read the book while you're having your coffee or having a snack or whatever. And if you decide you don't want the book, you just take it back and they give you the money back. It's like a, what do they call it? Rent? Short-term rental? So you rent the book to take it to the coffee shop. That way, if you decide to walk out with it or you accidentally walk out with it, you've also still got the book. But you've paid for the book as well, so they don't lose out. So you buy the book, and if you don't like it, you go back and you I think like the one we've got, you hand them your receipt for the coffee shop to show that you went down to the coffee shop and you've been down there. You haven't actually left the building or anything, and they'll just refund you straight away. No question. Do it in cash. Do it in cash. Okay? Otherwise, you're waiting a couple of days for your refund to come through on your card. Do it in cash. Take 20 quid with you. Yeah. Look at it first and see if it's something that you actually want to do. Because the amount of people I know, and I know a lot of... I've been in the journaling community for a very long time. There are people who have bought that book thinking they would work all the way through it. And you know what happens? Without fail, almost. They do the first chapter, which is about artist dates. They do the second chapter, which is about morning pages. And then they don't do any of the rest of the book. They're like, right, artist dates once a week. Go out and draw something. Go out to a museum. Go and watch an art noir film or something. Buy yourself an art book or a journaling book. Read something. To have an artist date every week. And write 3 pages every day. Or doodle for an hour every day. Or whatever it is you're going to do. You don't need an entire book with 11 other chapters to tell you that. So, for me, it wasn't worth it. It was a lot of work for not much payoff. But if you like that sort of thing, then you'd love it. It's a Marmite book. You'll either love it or hate it. This is the style I wanted to do, but do that much. So my weekly works so well for me. Yes, you don't do as much every day. You do this sort of thing. God. You do this in a whole week. Cody's got some really interesting layouts where she divides the page up for a week and doodles a little thing every day in the box. Similar thing. Very similar thing. And her drawing and doodling is getting very good. She's up to drawing full figures that actually look like full figures. They look like people, not stick men. Just because she's doing it every day, all the time. Heard of Morning Pages 2 and the Morning Miracle Savers steps. I don't know anything about those kind of stuff, Chris. The person you want for that is Mika. Mika Moontiger, she's one of my mods. She was here, I think she was here Tuesday, so if you go back to Tuesday's chat, you'll be able to find her link. She does videos on that kind of stuff, like the level 10 life and the she's got so many different journaling methods because she's a handwritten journaler. She likes to do some bits of art. She likes to do some bits here and there of doodling and this and that, but by and large, she's a written journaler. She's currently working through The Artist's Way. So that's the person you need. Go and tell her she needs to make some videos. She's fallen off the wagon a bit. Tell her she needs to make some videos on that kind of stuff. She'll appreciate it. So yeah, Morning Miracle Savers steps. I don't remember that being in my book, and I don't know what that is. So go and ask Mika what that is and how it works and what's your thoughts on that. Just post on one of her videos. She'll love it. I sound like I'm being sarcastic. I'm not being sarcastic. She'll love it. She'll enjoy it. She'll like the fact that people are asking her questions. She's got a coffee blog as well somewhere. Again, Mika Moontiger, I think. If she was here, she could give you the links. Oh, there we go. Cody's got it. Cody's got us covered. That's Mika's channel. And she's got all her links in there for like her coffee shop and everything. And where she puts her videos and where she does. She's got a blog somewhere as well. But I'm not a blog reader, so I don't follow it. I just watch her videos. But Mika's the Dutch girl, Belgian. I can't remember. It's somewhere around there. I'm terrible. I should know by now. I've known her for years. Anyway. Yeah, go and ask her those questions, because she'll actually know the answers. And if she doesn't know the answers, she'll go, ooh, a new system I haven't played with yet. And off she'll go down the rabbit hole. Both of those require you not just roll out of bed and start work, which is a struggle. Oh, Maria, I'm with you. I'm with you. The only thing that means I don't literally just roll out of bed, make coffee, get dressed and start working is that I have to take the dog out every day. That's the only thing that means I don't literally roll out from my bed to my desk. Doing the morning miracle thing. I'm not a morning person, so straight away anything that says morning, it's not going to happen. In fact, I did my morning pages at night before I went to bed to clear my head. I didn't keep them up for very long. I'd rather read a book. Anyway, this version of Sam's book is more of a how-to guide. So if you need something to work through, this is more the thing. It's very much a how-to. And it's not just a how-to draw, it's how to capture. So you've got part 1 is all about drawing and technical stuff. And then part 2 is about inspiration and motivation. Arizona, Kaggin, hello. So again, it's very similar. A lot less time spent on this is all the materials you're going to need to go and buy. And a lot more spent on this is why we're doing this and this is how and this is what we're going to get. There is some tools and materials stuff, but because it's about the first half of the book is specifically about tools and materials and how to draw and how to capture things, that makes sense. So it's actually exercises. It's not just this is what you're going to need for 60 odd pages. It shows you the differences. There are a lot of people who don't draw, who don't understand the difference between H pencils and B pencils. For those in the Americas, a number 2 is an HB pencil. It's neither hard nor soft, nor bold, sorry. B for bold, H for hard. Now you know what H. And the higher the number, the harder or bolder it is. So a 10B, super bold. 5H, super light and hard. HB, somewhere in the middle. Regular pencil. Simple as that. Talks about erasers and fine liners and paints and papers and other essentials, and then we get straight into the book. So it's not like 60 odd pages of the same thing again. It's 15 pages, which for a technical bit is fine. And then she shows a basic layout of how she starts her drawing. And maybe you're looking at this and going, oh, I couldn't do that. Or maybe you're thinking, hang on a minute, is that all I need to draw? A mug. Can I draw a mug? I don't know. Let's give it a try. So this first section is all about how to draw. Starting at basic shapes and marks and, you know, looking at things and breaking it down into shapes. Blind contour drawings or loose drawings and continual line drawings of people and faces. Look. Just because you're drawing doesn't mean it has to be realistic or good. Don't let perfectionism stop you. Oh, see, she's a big proponent, like me. If you are the kind of person who's going to use a pencil and keep rubbing things out because you have to have it exactly right, don't use a pencil, use a ballpoint pen. You'll get the same effect with the lines, because you can draw incredibly lightly with a ballpoint pen and get it to look like graphite, but you won't be able to erase it, so you'll have to commit to what you're doing. She talks about adding lights and shadows very simply, you know, to give that sense of depth, how to shade, doing symmetry, proportion, all that kind of stuff, a little bit on perspective. So it's a very basic drawing guide that you could go through and go, okay, let me have a go. There's a chair, I'm going to try and draw a chair. And then once I've drawn the basic chair outline, I'll colour it in. And the more you practice, the better you get at it. The first one won't be very good. If it is very good, well done, keep it going. But the first one won't be very good. Just accept it and move on. And then drawing from life, drawing from experience, and drawing from memory, you know. And gradually building out. She's got a section on typography, how to, from sketch to colour, where it starts and what it looks like when it's finished. Because you get that disjointed, unless you are an artist, you get that disjointed sense of, well, that is it's just a circle. What have we got here? We've got a circle, and we've got a zippy line that's doubled, and then that's it. Basically, that's the ball. But then look at this. Oh my God, it's a tennis ball. I can draw that. I can paint that. Yeah, because all she's done is added some green and then added a bit of dark green at the bottom. Literally, that's all she's done. And yet the difference is enough to make you think, oh, I couldn't do that. Yeah, you can. Follow the instructions. That's why this is a really good book. And it talks to you through different types of drawing. So that's the pencil sketch. Then you outline it. You can add cross hatching to make it darker. You can add stippling to make it darker, or you can do a little bit of cross hatching and then throw on some paint. Add a highlight, job done. You could just stick with pen. You could just use pen. She makes it very easy and accessible to do complex things like, here's your breakfast stuff or whatever it is. Here's where we're going to start. There's the basic layout. Then we do a little bit of sketching then to get the shading and stuff. And then we outline it and then we add colour. Because she's an illustrator, her art looks a little bit more professional. But she's very much in the style of Danny Gregory. Just grab a pen and draw what you see. And the more you draw, the better you'll get at it. But if you need somebody to hold your hand and talk you through how on earth do I approach drawing a dress, then this is a good one. I think this is better than the other one. If you just want some inspiration and ideas, the other one is better. If you need a how-to guide, this is what you need. So there you go. That's my 2 book recs. I will put them down in the description so you can see them, etc., etc. And in fact, why don't we take some inspiration from that? Actually, no, I'm going to do my lists first because I did label today's thing lists, and that's what I wanted to do first. So let's make a note of what I was thinking of doing, because lists isn't going to take long. Let's check back in on the poll. Do you have a reason to journal? We're now at 40% say yes, 11% say no, and 11% say not sure, and 1/3 say do I need one. So we're still very much the same numbers. It's quite interesting. You like the coffee shop book thing? Wish we had that here. Oh, like Waterstones. Yeah, our Waterstones has a lot of them. I mean, the first one that I knew of back in the 90s, Socky Hall Street Waterstones, had a coffee shop in the basement. And loads of sofas and chairs and tables and all sorts. And you could borrow a book and take it downstairs and have a coffee and work from the book or read the book or look at the book and then hand the book back when you were done. As long as it wasn't damaged. no problem. They were very strict about not damaging the books, though. Obviously. Had to be given back in good condition. But it was really useful for books like that, where you weren't sure which books you wanted. You could take a couple downstairs and sit and flip through them while you were drinking your coffee, and then decide which ones you wanted to keep and which ones you wanted to put back. But there are libraries. Libraries still exist, people. Use your local library. Use it or lose it. Right. List ideas. So I've got my TBR list. Current lists I have is books I've read this year, my physical books to be read, my audio books to be read, my series books to be read. I'm going to put my Stephen King list in here, but that might be a printable. It might be something I write out. I don't know yet. It depends how it prints. I've got a list of recommendations, which will be, currently it's all books, but it's basically who recommended it and what they recommended. Because people do recommend things to me quite a lot. And over time you get to know who's recommended something on a regular basis that they think you'll like, that you do like, and people whose taste is not the same as yours. And as Cody very astutely said yesterday, if they keep sharing books that you don't like at all, go and check out their Goodreads list and look at all the books they gave 1 star to. Because you'll probably like those. That's what I do with my bun. We do not have the same taste in books whatsoever. So if she absolutely hates a book or doesn't finish it, I'll probably enjoy it. Which is just as well, because she reads about 15 books at once. She's so fast, such a fast reader. I couldn't keep up. Okay, so list ideas. I thought one of the lists I could do in my journal was a list of list ideas. I mean, right? So I've got my recommendations I've noted down. I want to do a list of movies and media. Because I've already got my books. I want to do a list of movies and media and what platforms they're on. What is everyone reading for non-fiction November? No, I'm doing NaNoWriMo. I'm a fanfic writer. I'm doing NaNoWriMo. I would rather be writing. I didn't even know non-fiction November was a thing, actually. So, movies and media. This is movies and media that I have already checked. A, I have access to, and B, I actually looked at and want to watch. So I've watched the trailer, or I've skimmed through the summary, or whatever. Somebody recommended it, or I saw a trailer for it, or whatever, and I thought, ooh, I want to watch that. I've got a list already in the back of a sketchbook somewhere. So I will retrieve it and put it in here. I've also got a list of games, because I now have a laptop I can game on again. I don't want to get too into gaming, but there are a couple of games I want to try out. So I will probably put those 2 on the same page, because I don't think I'll need a big list. I don't think I'll need a lot of room. What other lists are potentials for putting in your journal? Come on, guys. I told you to have a think about this yesterday. What other lists? Tying in with the Artist's Way thing about if you want to go on artist dates, right? That could be something you put in your journal. A list of places or things that you want to do. So I'm going to put artist dates, because I know what that means. But it would basically be a list of maybe an upcoming play that's happening, where you're going, where you live, Somewhere you want to go that you haven't been before. Somewhere you want to go and maybe you didn't get time to have a look round properly, so you want to go back again. Somewhere you want to go and revisit. Something you want to sit and do. A book that you want to sit and look through. Book that time for yourself as an artist day and say, right, for 2 hours on Thursday afternoon, I'm going to sit and do this. Book your artist dates and keep a list of what you want to do. The 2 books I talked about yesterday, and some writing books, and In Defence of Witches and The Chimp Paradox. The Chimp Paradox, that just sounds interesting title. I mean, that's just an interesting title, isn't it? The Chimp Paradox. So, other lists. Challenges you want to do. How about silly holidays? You could use the Google logo. Did you know today is Marie Curie's birthday? Oh, are you stuck for something to do in your journal today? Fine, print out a picture of Marie Curie, do a fancy title, write a bit about her. Make a note that it's her birthday today. Oh, you've already got stuff to journal about? That's fine. Put happy birthday Marie Curie. Would have been X years old today. Up the side of the page. Projects around the house, things to research, anti-haul list of things you don't want to buy. Oh, I'm loving these ideas. Right, okay, so projects around the house. Yeah, projects. I'm going to call that non-art projects because it's not really around the house things, but I do have things that I want to do. And not like to-do list type things, but yeah, projects I want to do. I want to move my bedroom around. I want to move everything out of the bedroom, clean all the floors, and put things back and rearrange the bedroom. That's a long-term project that I can't do all at once. I probably can't do on my own either, but I can split it up into little bits. You know, I can start going through drawers and stuff and go through my wardrobe and all that kind of thing. So, projects. Things to research. Yeah. I would call that a rabbit hole list. And I would call my projects list, because they're not work projects, and I have a lot of work projects. I have a lot of projects that I need to do on a creative level, both for myself and for work, and that I can stream and all that kind of stuff. Those are my top tier projects. Those are the ones that I need to concentrate on first. And if I get time, or if I have a spare hour here or there, or if I want to dedicate a Sunday afternoon to it or whatever, I have other projects I want to do. Now, those I call side quests. So my side quests are stuff that is not vitally important that I do, but I want to do it. Rabbit holes are things that, yeah, there's the potential that I could go in, do a quick Google search, do a little bit of a box on a page, fill in this space, job done. There are others. Let's just say the Tibetan tunnels may have been me going down a rabbit hole and just not coming back. Rabbit holes you have done. Oh, there's. I could write a book on that. I don't have enough space for a list like that. I could add rabbit holes I have done recently to my list. That would be interesting. Maybe just the rabbit holes I've done this year. Dogs of Instagram. I missed a bit. Dogs of Instagram. List of things you don't want to buy. An anti-haul list, yes. I like that. Things I will never give house room and why I don't want them. That's a good list. I like that. I don't want to buy this. I don't need it. And this is why. Dogs of Instagram. I kind of like the idea of drawing one of the dogs that I follow every day. Because I follow... You know that meme where it says, I follow 500 dogs and maybe 3 people on Instagram? That's me. And the maybe 3 people I follow are either people I know very well or other artists. So, yeah. I like the idea of dogs to doodle. Because I love drawing dogs. I think it'd be fun to do a little Instagram dog. Whichever Instagram dog pops up on my feed for the day. IRL Book Club is reading Master Slave Husband Wife. Happy coincidence that it's non-fiction since it's a bunch of grandmas who aren't on BookTube. I like the recommendations page idea and did something similar. 12 books from 12 friends recommendations. Yeah, I can see the appeal of that. And alongside it, you know, the whole... so many for the year, like 24 in 24, 25 in 25 and all that. I'm not 25 before 25, etc, etc. I'm not one of those people. I'm not that rigid in my structure, but I can understand why why that would appeal to other people, especially the kind of people who do bullet journals and layouts and things like that, because you make that 12 books from 12 friends, that is built for being a really pretty layout in your bullet journal. 25 before 25. I mean, that's a bingo card if ever I saw one. I do like a good bingo card. And when I say list ideas, I don't literally mean lists that I'm just gonna write a list like this. They might not be lists. Dogs to doodle, for instance, dogs of Instagram. That might be just something I doodle a dog every so often when I feel like doodling a dog, or I don't know what to draw, or I want to do something in my journal and I'm not sure what to do. Go and find a dog on Instagram that I follow and draw them. Right? Doesn't have to be a list. Challenges, again, doesn't have to be a list. You could print out the list of the challenge list, or the challenge GIF or picture or whatever it is that they've provided you with. Stick that in your journal. That's what I do. So I'm not writing all that out again. If somebody's done it already, I'm not going to do it again, unless it doesn't print very well. Some of them are dark backgrounds and they don't print very well. A list of artist dates. Again, that doesn't have to be just a list. That could be, maybe you get the local paper or the local community magazine, or you're on the community website or something, and you just print out the bits you want. Maybe you use your little thermal printer and print out the bits you want and stick them on the page. Add them to your diary. Movies and media. It doesn't have to be a list. You could print out the image of the poster, or the trailer image, or, you know, something like that. The IMDb page. Whatever it is you want to do. And add that to your book. Recommendations page idea. Oh, I've done that one. Rabbit holes you have been down. Yeah, I've done that. You don't want to do the farting snakes rabbit hole. Oh, there's a rabbit hole. Yeah, you don't want to redo that. There are some rabbit holes you never want to go down again. Some rabbit holes give you trauma. You never want to go there again. I did once, a funny story, I did once go down a rabbit hole where I was researching something on the internet, and I followed link after link after link after link, and I ended up on a page, and it was just a white web page, and in the middle it said, "Congratulations, you've reached the end of the internet." and there was a thing underneath that said exit, and when you exited it just took you back to the Google homepage. And I was like, that was a rabbit hole worth going down. It's literally a page on the internet that says, congratulations, you've reached the end of the internet. It takes you back to Google. That's my kind of thing. I love discovering things like that. Did I draw a picture of the internet page in my journal at the time? Yes, I did. Buddy reads, book club books, series, etc. Yeah. I'm not a huge reader. I just read. I read a lot, but I'm not a reader, if that makes sense. I'm an audiobooker. I like to listen to audiobooks while I'm drawing or doing something or journaling or whatever. I just like to listen to audiobooks when I'm busy. That I don't class myself particularly as a reader. So reading prompts for me, not something I do. But if you are a reader or you have a reading journal, those are all really good ideas. Book club books. Go on Goodreads and get all their recommendations. The 2024-2025 recommendations. Get the top 10 recommendations from your buddies on Goodreads or whatever that other... What was that other... What was the other one you were talking about, Cody? The other site? The different book tracking sites, anyway. Write down the top 3 recommended reads for this year from your favourite booktubers. Do a list of your favourite booktubers. I mean, that's all stuff you could do in a reading journal. I'm not that. I write a basic summary about what I've read. I track what I've read. Mostly on Goodreads, but I also put it in my journal. I only keep a summary because I can't remember what books are about. That's about it. I'm not that serious about it. I don't like tracking things anyway. I'm just a list maker. What anniversaries of things you love are coming up? National days, foods you want to try that you saw or read about, and where you read or saw it. Oh, now, those are all really good ideas. None of them are particularly things that I would do necessarily, but I do want to just start a list of air fryer recipes. Because I'm not a cook, okay? Storygraph. Thank you, Cody. I couldn't remember the name. I am not a cook. ADHD got me like, I'd rather just make a sandwich. If I can't stick it in the microwave for 10 minutes, I'm not interested. However, in 2019, I bought myself a little air fryer. Mostly for just doing quick things, frozen stuff or chips or whatever if I fancied it, rather than having to do the whole oven thing. Honestly, most of what I made in my air fryer was either veggie burgers or jacket potatoes. That's most of what I made in my air fryer. However, my air fryer died, the fan died, and I had to get a new one. So my mum had given me some money to buy yourself something nice with, because she'd bought something nice for my sister. So she gave me the money to go and buy something nice for myself, which is very nice of her. And it happened that I had been looking at air fryers, because mine wasn't very big. Mine was only about this big. You could just about do a jacket potato in it. It was tiny. But the fan had died. So I thought, well, you know what? I use it. And if I had a bigger one, I would use it a lot more. So I got a bigger one. I spent 50 quid on a big... The thing of it is like this. It's got an app. It's got a window thing that you can see what's happening. Oh, it's fantastic. I love it. So now I'm a little bit more like, okay, now I've got an air fryer that's big enough to do things in. I'd quite like to try some of the recipes, because I do like a lasagna, and you can make lasagna in the air fryer. I'm like, okay, let's give it a go. I'm not a recipe maker particularly. I don't follow recipes. In fact, I've got a booklet. I just had it here. This came with my air fryer. And I flipped through it and I was like, I'm never going to follow the recipes unless it's something like that. Blueberry lemon yogurt muffins. That I might follow, except that this is all dairy, and I don't eat a lot of dairy, so no reason. I'm just not particularly a dairy person. Cheese I eat, and I do eat eggs, but I don't bake dairy stuff. How to make a bagel. Now there's something I'm interested in. How to make a bagel. Okay, fine. Sweet potato fries, but I don't need instructions on how to do that. 200 degrees for 7 to 8 minutes, turn halfway. Ingredients are sweet potatoes and a lot of different spices and garnishes. So, okay, so basically we're just going to chop up our sweet potato, mix it up with a bit of spray oil, so that everything sticks. Throw on some garnish. Chuck it in the air fryer. 200 degrees, 7 to 8 minutes, turn halfway through. I don't need a recipe to tell me how to do that. The picture alone told me what I needed to do. Garlic knots. 20 minutes? Oh, that's a lot of... See, that's too many ingredients. So what you do is you buy pre-made dough. You follow the instructions on the pre-made dough, and if you want it to be garlicky or cheesy or oniony or whatever, you add that into the dough. Job done. Garlic parmesan fries. Chop up a potato, add parmesan and garlic, stick them in the air fryer for, how long does it say? 190 for 2 to 3 times. Redo them until they're crunchy. Okay. That's how I cook. I am not a recipe follower. The minute you want me to buy ingredients and follow a recipe, I'm like, nah. That's more time than I want to commit to this project. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to look at things and go, oh, I can do that in an air fryer. Okay, let's have a go. I'll just make it up myself. Miss Maddie needs a belly rub. Hi, Miss Maddie. Belly rub, baby. So yeah, a list of air fryer recipes that I want to try. Because I'm absolutely telling you, over Christmas, this is not something I would do normally, because I don't really have a sweet tooth, but I can't get it out of my brain. Over Christmas, now that I have an air fryer big enough to do it, it's going to involve a selection of kind of biscuits, like sweet biscuit, not fancy biscuits, just like digestives and plain biscuits, malted milks, those kind of things. A big pack of marshmallows, some dark chocolate chips, and an air fryer. Because I've seen that recipe on Instagram so many times. And I'm like, marshmallow and chocolate dip on Christmas Eve, watching a movie with a hot chocolate and some dipping biscuits. I'm in. That's a recipe that's going on the list. I want to do that. But I'm not going to follow a recipe. I'll wing it. How hard can it be? My way of cooking is very similar to my way of art making. What could go wrong? What's the worst that can happen? You burn it. So you don't cook it for any longer. However long it would normally take in an oven, you don't cook it for any more than half that time before you check it. It's not rocket science. Gonna make a list of lists. You're suggesting this is really helpful. Yeah, make a list of all the lists other people recommend that you're probably not going to do, but just make lists. Chips equals fries for those who don't know. Ugh. Chips. They're chips. Okay, they're chips. And they're not crisp. They're not chips, they're crisps. They're not fries, they're chips. Fries are little skinny French things. Chips are chips. You call them potato wedges. Love my air fryer, barely use the oven. I haven't used my oven other than to make my chocolate cake. I make a vegan, gluten-free chocolate cake, which is thebomb.com. You literally, you mix it in the pan and it takes 20 minutes. And as soon as I can figure out how to convert 20 minutes at gas mark 4 into air fryer technology and how long it would take to do it in an air fryer, I'm going to do it in the air fryer. Because I don't use my oven for anything else. In fact, for a long time, do you know what I used to use my oven for? Because I don't cook in an oven. I'm clumsy. The last thing I need is to be trying to get hot things out of a thing that is down here somewhere. It's not my jam. I'd rather use a microwave. I used to use my oven to put my oil paintings in. Not closed up. I used to leave it open a little bit. So that the air could circulate. But I used to put my oil paintings in there so they didn't get covered in dog hair. Because the oven here, I had never used it. Maddie, stop, baby. Quotes, hacks, or things you've learned, restaurants, places you might want to go. Artist dates is places I might want to go. I don't really leave the house for anything else. I'm not a big out with people person. I'd rather stay home and read a book. Or play with Maddie. But I do have places that I'd like to go locally that are like museums or like, for instance, did I hop on the website immediately to buy tickets for February the 5th when Macbeth is going to be on the cinemas? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And when I checked back yesterday and it said, actually, there's not just a 7 o'clock showing, there's now a 2:30 showing as well. Did I immediately go and buy a ticket for 2:30 as well? Yes, I did. But that's me going and sitting in a cinema, watching something, going and sitting in a coffee shop or having some lunch, or sitting somewhere I can eat and play on my journal and sketch, and then going back at 7:30 and watching it again. That's not being out with people. That's like being at home. Hacks. No, not for me. I do have I'm pretty good at remembering things like that. What I do have is a list in my workbook of rogue-ivering hacks that I want to do a little video on, like reels or stuff on. Like my little mini hack of how to make a tabletop bin out of an envelope for when you're out and about journaling and you need to put bits of paper or crap in a bin. Little things like that. I do have a list of that. But that's hacks I want to do, not hacks that I find of other places. I tend to just remember them. Quotes. I already have a quotes page. I will have to start a new one soon. But currently I already have a quotes page. Quotes I liked. Almost done. Things you learned. That's for me is side quests and rabbit holes. Although I think I've already peaked on things I've learned. When I think of things I've learned, I don't think of like major life things that I've learned. I mean, I was today years old when I found out. That's what I think of when I think of things I learned that I would put in my journal. And I think I peaked when the day I found out that narwhals are not mythical creatures like unicorns. They are actual physical things that live in the sea. I thought they were mythical creatures like unicorns. I did not know they actually existed. So I think I've peaked on I was today years old when I found out. I do have words. I do like to keep words that I've found. But I don't do that as a list. That would be just something I might do a box here and write the word and do the description and stuff. I do have a word that I found recently, actually. I will write that on my thing as well for something I can do. A wish list. Nah. Boring. I mean, you know, if you want to do a wish list, do a wish list. To me, that's boring. Something you loved that day. Your dreams and mantras. Good lists. Good ideas. Not for me. Don't like much ovens much either. Especially in the summer on Thanksgiving. Yeah. If I can't do it in the microwave or the air fryer, do I even want to eat it? Songs that inspire you. If I was going to do songs that inspire me, I would actually do a page about the song. I wouldn't do it as a list. But a playlist, a current playlist, that's you could do one of those like every month or something. For specific songs, I would actually do a bit of the quote or just write the quotes in. Quite often when I'm journaling, I would just write quotes of what I'm listening to, or sometimes if it's music or audiobooks or whatever, I'll just write the quote as I'm sitting there. Your new TV or movie crush. I don't have a new TV or movie crush. My TV or movie crush is David Tennant. Always has been. Always will be. Don't even try and change my mind. I adore that man. Don't even go there. I don't have a new TV or movie crush. You thought they were fake like unicorns too? Thank you, Chris. I don't feel like such an idiot now. Somebody else thought that too. Thank you. No, narwhals are real. They are real creatures. They're like dolphin type things. And apparently the spike is not a horn. It's a tooth. From their bottom lip, it's a tooth. And they use it to spear their prey. They use it to catch fish. How they get it off the spear to eat it then, I don't know. But I haven't gone down that rabbit hole. But yeah, narwhals are actually real. I could do a page on narwhals, couldn't I? See, a list of pages I could do in my journal. There is pages for my journal. Or journal ideas. There you go. Journal ideas. As I'm thinking of it, I'm writing them on a post-it note. So let's just find a page and stick it in there. And now we'll do a page for ideas for my journal. Because I don't always have time to stop and do it. A list of art materials. Nah. You could. I could see why you might want to. Things you might want to try. Things you have that you forget that you own. Jane. Hi, Jane. Jane. A list of all the art materials you've own, when you bought them, and when you last used them. If ever. Inlay. Hi. List of resources, like good YouTube channels for various things, or useful websites to remember that might otherwise get lost in bookmarks. Oh, I like that idea. I like that idea. Useful. I'm going to put that as useful websites. You could make like an analog Pinterest board in your journal, like a layout Pinterest board. Right? Useful websites, etc. Yeah, I like that idea. That's a good one. They use it to get through ice. They don't use it to catch prey. Oh, okay. The website I saw was wrong then. That doesn't surprise me. So, Apparently they don't use it to catch prey. They use it to cut through ice. Which is even cooler. I mean, come on. Let's just through the ice. I like that. What? Narwhals just became even cooler for me. Even cooler. Regarding David Tennant, have you ever made a Doctor Who scarf? Oh, honey. Have I ever made a Doctor Who scarf? Tom Baker was my doctor. My mum knitted me a Doctor Who scarf. And I wore the hell out of it. It was a moth-eaten, manky old thing by the time I finally decided I wasn't going to wear it anymore. I think I was about 12. Have I ever made a Doctor Who scarf? No, I haven't made a Doctor Who scarf because I don't knit. I crochet. And I'm just not up for that. I have made scarves, and I have made long scarves, but I wouldn't wear a Doctor Who scarf now. I don't wear colour very much. But yeah, I may look young and young and beautiful and adorable, but I am the same age as David Tennant. So Tom Baker was my doctor. Okay. I'm old enough to have a mum who knitted a Doctor Who scarf for me. Colour palettes you like? Yes, I do have a list of colour palettes. That goes in my studio journal. And I also have my scrap journal. So I've got two different studio journals. One of them is my... This is my Trash Panda journal, okay? It's kind of a junk journal, but it's more of a Trash Panda dump. This is where I collect crap. But it's crap that inspires me, okay? Bits and pieces of artwork, random things from magazines, these cards, these old tea cards. Do you remember these? Cigarette cards as well. They were slightly bigger. My grandmother smoked silk cut, so we always had the cigarette cards as well. She had thousands of them. Here we go, colour palettes. So swatches, things that I've seen and thought, oh, I like those colours together. Oh, I like those colours. I like those colours. And eventually I'll come back and figure out how to make those colours with different things. But right now it's just colour palettes. Things that I've looked at and gone, oh, I really like those colours together. So this is literally just random crap. Where else would I put 75 years of Marvel, all the different connections between the films? I mean, that wouldn't fit in the little book anyway, so that's why I've got a composition book for bigger stuff like this. Yeah, we've already got a Trash Panda journal, so that goes in my Trash Panda journal. Hi, John. You always forget that SEP, the Standard Encyclopedia of Philosophy, is a thing. Yeah. You do just get blind spots on things like that sometimes, where you're just like, why didn't I just look that up on Wikipedia? Things you found fascinating or sexy. Fascinating I could go with. But see, that goes with rabbit holes. Interesting stuff. But that's similar to what I've got there, where I saw something in a magazine and went, oh, look at that, that's really interesting. And out it went in my Trash Panda book. But yeah, I can see where you're getting at with that. Things I found sexy. David Tennant. What is your sexual orientation? David Tennant. That's it. The end. Coffees and teas combos you want to try. That's a good idea for a different... If you're into that kind of thing, yeah. Especially teas. If you're a tea drinker, that's a really interesting thing. I like my coffee with caffeine. And I don't drink tea, so. Breakfasts, like we were talking about the other day, I don't do breakfast. I'm a toast girl. I'm not a foodie, so if you're a foodie, then all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, breakfasts, quick lunches, things you could make in a big batch and put in the freezer. You know, if you're a foodie or you like cooking or baking, that's a great thing to do. You could start a list now of things that you could make in advance and put in the freezer for Thanksgiving or Christmas. A list of ingredients that you need to get before the Christmas rush, and when you go to the store and there's no cranberry sauce anywhere, you know, that kind of thing. There's lots. I mean, if you're a real foodie, you can have a food journal where you keep recipes and all sorts of stuff. Miss Vicky B's got one of those. I'm not a foodie. I'm quite happy eating a jacket potato or pasta every day. I don't care. I don't care about food. You wouldn't think so to look at me, but I do have a thyroid problem, so. Oh, hang on. Husband wants you to make a Doctor Who scarf, but you crochet, and you will only accept it knitted. Yeah. Oh, if he's a real Doctor Who fan, he needs to have a knitted scarf. It has to be knitted. Yeah. That's when you go on Etsy and find someone who can knit and say, can you make me a Doctor Who scarf in the right colours, please? Thank you. Because, no. Anyone who is a big enough Doctor Who fan to want a Doctor Who scarf and probably a matching hat so they look like Orinoco Womble. Because I'm telling you, Tom Baker and Orinoco Womble, same person. Fourth Doctor and Orinoco Womble, same person. Prove me wrong. See, there's a journal idea. I haven't done it yet, so Fourth Doctor versus Orinoco Womble. Prove me wrong. I mean, there's a page idea right there. Yeah, anybody who's enough of a nerd to actually wear a Doctor Who scarf wants it the right length, the right width, the right colours, and will only accept it if it's knitted. You have a whole journal for an analogy Pinterest board filled with images that inspire me on different topics. That's a good idea. Yeah, like an analog Pinterest board. That's pretty much what this is, really. That's pretty much what this is. It's just a way of collecting all the detritus. You'll notice I keep things together. So all my magazine things are here, and then all my colour swatches are together. And then this is all about time. Most of the pages are themed or something. Look, there's my list of artist dates. How about a page on Narluga? A narwhal and beluga hybrid. Belugas are whales, aren't they? Aren't they those cute little white whales? See, no, not really. I mean, it's a nice idea. It's a fun idea, but it's not something I would do, I don't think. I mean, I might wake up one day and go, oh, there's a narwhal beluga. That's the kind of thing that if I came across it on the internet, I might immediately write it down. But to actually plan to do a page on it is not necessarily my thing. I'm happy with just knowing that there is such a thing as a Narluga. Which means I can literally just... I mean, I didn't journal yesterday, so I probably should. Narwhals are real... narwhal plus beluga equals Naluga. That's it, that's done. I don't need to do a page on it, I've put it in there. I'll futsy about with that, colour it in, tidy it up and do something with it later. It's written in my journal. Done. Males have the tusk, not females. Oh, I didn't know that. Only male narwhals have the tusk. I thought they all had it. That's interesting. Because usually with fish or sea mammals or whatever, I assume they're mammals. Are they mammals, not fish? I don't know. Sharks are fish and dolphins are mammals, so it's kind of confusing. Usually with fish or sea creatures, they all have the same things. You can't really tell males from females. It's not like the birds, where birds are different colours or whatever. So it's quite unusual for them to have different... one to have the tooth and one not. Because it's not like female narwhals wouldn't need to break through the ice to breathe, is it? A live Pinterest board in your journal sounds cool. Yeah, that's what composition books and notebooks are for. That composition notebooks, page for everything. Do something to do with all the screenshots you take. Yes, screenshots, things you save on Instagram, stuff like that. You don't always want to save it digitally. Sometimes you want to print it out. Same. Funny about not being told when to learn new skills. I must have missed something there. I don't know what that's about. Halloween costumes you may want to do. Oh, Chris is really going for the let's think of all the lists. Hang on, where did it go? Halloween costumes you may want to do. Lipstick or nail polishes you might want to try, or nail designs. Oh, those are all good ideas. I'm surprised Bun doesn't have a... Well, she probably does by now in her happy planner. A whole page of nail art designs and things and stuff that she wants to try. She probably does have that. She uses her notes app a lot though, so she might have it on her phone. None of the above are things I would put on my lists, but nice memory about your mum and your scarf and your mum. Yeah, she made me a matching hat as well, which I was kind of happy about because my head used to get cold, but also not happy about because Tom Baker wore a hat, but it wasn't that hat. It's a big floppy red thing. I wanted the Orinoco Womble style hat and I couldn't find one. I've got a photo somewhere of me with my ridiculously long scarf because I insisted on it being 14 feet long. That's how long his scarf was. I wanted it 14 feet long. Of course, I'm 8. And Tom Baker is 6'3". So you can imagine, it was a big scarf. Kept me very warm. Dylan O'Brien or Jensen Ackles. Jensen Ackles I can get behind. He is lovely. Yes. Ben Barnes is not bad to look at either. Dylan O'Brien, that's the guy from Black Books, is it? Or is that somebody else I'm thinking of? I can't remember. there's lots of people I think, oh, they're not bad. I mean, Emily Blunt is gorgeous. But, you know, that's it. Emily Blunt's gorgeous. She's also a really good actress. Oh, she's in that movie. I'll watch that. The David Tennant thing is more of an obsession. So, yeah, pales into insignificance. I'm sorry. It's been like being a mega fan of a band. Other music is interesting, but you're always going to go back to that band. Hey, Kelly. I can knit and crochet. I just don't like knitting because my wrists get tired and my shoulders get tired. And if I'm crocheting, I can crochet with one hand, and then when I get to the end, I can, instead of continuing, I can turn around and crochet back with the other. So I get to use both hands and I don't have to worry about my shoulders or my wrists going. Whereas knitting, I end up sitting like this for a long time, and it's not good for me. So I can knit, won't knit. I don't enjoy it. The weird and the wonderful, interesting facts, a list of spells and magic stuff. I have a list of spells and magic stuff in my book Shadows. Don't need it in my journal. Interesting facts. That again, that's the kind of thing that I do with this. That's the kind of... there's an interesting fact. Narwhals are real. Narwhal plus beluga equals narluga. I might even go and find a picture of one and sketch it or print it out or whatever. That's it. Interesting fact. Done. So yes, interesting facts. Well, interesting stuff. I've already put interesting stuff was literally the last thing I put. So yes, but I wouldn't necessarily keep it as a list. The weird and wonderful. Again, that would be the kind of thing I would just throw in my journal. It wouldn't necessarily be a list. And I am drawn to weird shit. If it's weird, I'm probably going to be drawn to it, and I'm probably going to make a note of it. Because that's what I do. Doodles, background designs you'd like to do in your art or journal. Yes. Again, another good one, especially if you're at this level. That's, things you'd like to try and draw in your journal. That's a great idea. Designs you'd like to use. Jashi has a list of themes she wants to explore in her bullet journal. For me, that's more a list for my sketchbook. I've got a list of things that, I have never drawn a narwhal. I've never drawn a narwhal. Draw a... You know what? That's a sketchbook page. Narwhal, beluga, narluga. That's a sketchbook page, not a journal page. Writing prompts or ideas for your writing experiments you might want to try. I have an entire writing journal. That's this journal. On Tuesday, I was trying to decide if I wanted to use this journal or this journal. This is just going to be my everyday journal. This is specifically reading and writing. So this is for all my fanfic notes, which I already had in here. But I've also got summaries of books I'm reading, notes from, this is from the masterclass with Margaret Atwood on writing. Comments that a really nice comment that somebody left me on AO3. That's for a series I'm writing with a friend. So yeah, that's this book. Quotes that I like also go in here sometimes. Things that trigger ideas for me that are more writing and reading. I print them out and put in here. So yes, that's a separate journal for me. Currently doing NaNoWriMo because I'm writing Fluffsember for fan fiction with a friend of mine, because we write Broadchurch fan fiction because we're dorks, and we're doing the Fluffsember list. Hi Tyler, finally free from work. Way. It's a mammal and they're whales. Oh right, so if a narwhal and a beluga can breed together, then they've got to be the same genus, haven't they? So yeah, they've got to be both mammals and they're both whales. Okay, that makes sense. That was obvious in hindsight. Was it not? But I wouldn't have put the two together unless you'd told me, so thank you for that. Tried years ago to knit and it did not go well. But I'm also not much of a crocheter. Double stitch a new scarf for my kid every year and that's about it. Yeah, not everybody's into it. I like all of it. I learnt to do it all at a very young age. My grandmother and my mother both knitted. My mum crocheted. My gran crocheted. My gran and my mum both did sewing and tailoring. My gran specifically did altering. She used to thrift things and alter them and remake stuff out of the material and all that kind of stuff. My mum used to do upholstery and things. She could make curtains and cushion covers and sofa covers. She reupholstered a bloody armchair, this woman. I'm like, that's not something I can do. For reference, the lag right now, I'm seeing on YouTube me writing down the narwhal beluga idea in my sketchbook. That's what the lag is right now. So that's fun. The old trend when people used to put lipstick watches in their bullet journals. Well, why not? I mean, if it's something you do, I suggested it to my mum because she keeps buying nail varnishes and she'll go, oh, that's a really pretty colour. And guess what? She then ends up with 9 different nail polishes that are almost exactly the same colour. So I said to her, why don't you get a sheet of card, like a big sheet of card, and, you know, by brand or whatever, if you want to, do a swatch of your nail polish, or get some of those. Oh, that's an idea for a Christmas idea, actually. That's a good. Ooh. I don't know what they're called, but By Bun got some of those nails on a stick. They're like false nails on a stick, and they go on a keyring, and you paint your nail swatches on, and you write on what it is. My mum would love that. She'd be able to find all her colours and see which one she's got. It'd be something she could keep in her handbag, so when she sees colours, she'll know if she's got one that's similar already. That's a really good idea. I've called them nail swatch nails because I don't know what else to call them. But that's Christmas present list, gift lists, gift ideas. There's a... And obviously if you want to do specifically Christmas or a birthday or a particular person or whatever. Dylan is from Teen Wolf. Am I safe in assuming this is not the original Teen Wolf, but a new version of the Teen Wolf that I remember from the 70s and 80s? Because honestly, if it was Teen Wolf from the 70s or 80s, he'd be about 65 by now. And I can't imagine that. I mean, I don't know. You want to knit left-handed and everyone was right-handed, so they haven't picked it up. Well, as a left-handed knitter, I can tell you that the way to do it is to watch somebody do it and mirror their actions. It's like with choreography. The teacher always does it backwards and mirrored so that the students are doing it the right way round. So they're doing it here, facing that way. And if they want you to go to the left, they go to the right. So they do it this way and you follow. Do it that way. And instead of listening to what they're saying when they're saying put the right thing through this and that, mirror what they're doing. and you can teach yourself how to knit left-handed. Or just go on YouTube and find somebody who knits left-handed and watch them. I mean, that's the thing now, isn't it? It wasn't when I was learning to knit, but I was lucky. My grandmother was left-handed. So my mum, I used to sit opposite her and I'd mirror her. And then my gran would knit left-handed and show me how to do it from Teen Wolf from 2010. Oh, no. No, Michael J. Fox is Teen Wolf. Who is about 65 now, isn't he? He's quite old now. Nimble Needles on YouTube has left-handed versions of most things, if not all his tutorials. There you go. Nimble Needles on YouTube, left-handed knitter. You like the Tim Burton quote? It's always Halloween for some of us. Yeah. Oh, it's in my other book. You'll see that on Tuesday's video when I was figuring out which book I was going to use. Can you reverse the image and learn to knit? Yeah, that's another way of doing it, is to, if you need to follow what they're doing, do it, flip the video. That's another way of doing it, yeah. But YouTube is a thing now, so there's left-handed knitters. Just find somebody who's left-handed and make it easy. But at a pinch. Or if you don't have access to YouTube or whatever, or, you know, if you're learning from somebody in person, if they're right-handed and you're left-handed, sit opposite them. No matter what you're doing. That way you can mirror their actions with your left hand to their right hand. And it'll make it a lot easier. Right. New word of the day. Cross-dominance is also known as mixed-handedness and occurs when a person favours one hand for certain tasks and the opposite hand for other tasks. I did not know that. Oh, that's going in my journal. That's going straight in here. I've always assumed I was ambidextrous, but I've always said I'm ambidextrous, but I'm not ambidextrous because I cannot butter a piece of toast with my right hand. I use my left hand. I cannot butter a piece of toast with my left hand. I eat left-handed. Fork, knife, I cut things with my left hand. Peel a potato with my left hand. You try and get me to peel a potato with my right hand, I would have no fingers left. But I also can't draw with my left hand. Cross-dominance. I did not know this was a thing. This is the kind of thing that you learn all over the place. So cross-dominance, mixed-handedness, aka mixed-handedness. When a person favours one hand for certain tasks and the opposite hand for other things. When a person favours one hand for one task, but the opposite hand for others. Yeah, so like if you throw a ball at me, I'll catch it with my left hand. Given a choice, I will pick things up with my left hand. But I write with my right hand because I grew up in the 70s when you literally had to sit on your left hand if you were left-handed and write with your right hand. Boy, was my mum mad when she found out about that. I can write with both hands. I can't draw with my left hand, but I can write with my right hand and my left hand equally badly. You write left-handed but crochet right-handed. That's quite common because you were probably taught to crochet by a right-handed person. I was lucky. There were a lot of left-handers in my family. And my mum is a dancer and used to teach dancing. So she automatically oriented it so that I was copying what she did, mirroring it rather than sitting next to her copying it. So it was natural to her to teach that way. You're right-handed, but you open soda bottles and some things with your left hand. Oh yeah, God, I couldn't even imagine opening. Yeah, I couldn't imagine opening anything any other way than that. Because if you're opening it, that's the most obvious way to do it. But when I screw a top back on, I do it that way. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, unless you're left-handed. In which case, outwards and outwards. Your friend Gareth's 11 years younger than you. His school refused to teach him to write left-handed. What? That's... You're what, 30s? Late 20s, early 30s? So he's mid-20s maximum. So he was at school this century and they refused to teach him left-handed. That's... What the hell? That's bonkers. My cross dominance came in handy and became more defined in high school when I broke my left elbow. Oh yeah, you break an arm or you do your shoulder, dislocate your shoulder like I did, and you really become adept at using the other hand real fast. People say that happened in the 70s or 80s, and I'm like, yeah, that's the 70s and 80s for you. And we all drank out of garden hoses, and life was a game of chance, whether you made it to the next day or not. This century? What the ever-loving heck? Oh, you were 40 this year. Oh, so he's in his 30s. He still would have been in school this century. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That the same attitude was still bandying around 25 years ago. That is was being bandied around in the 70s. But then, I mean, that's the theme of the day, isn't it? Let's go back to the 1970s. When everything was terrifying. My teacher, when I was in 5th grade, told me I was holding my pencil wrong to hold it with my middle finger on top. What, like that? Or like that? Because I do that. I write like that sometimes, especially if my wrist is hurting, because it takes the pressure off your thumb. I don't really think about how I hold my pen. I just kind of do all sorts of things. I think my patrons can attest to that. I do sometimes write like that. And sometimes I write like that. And sometimes I write like that. His school was backwards. No shit, Sherlock. My dominant hand switches all the time, especially on migraine days. That's not surprising, is it, really? Because isn't it that cross-wiring thing where isn't your right hand left-brained and your left hand is right-brained or something? So if you've got a headache on the right side of your head, you wouldn't want to use your left hand very much. Or you would naturally try to minimise the pain by using the other hand. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. The first one. So like that. Yeah, some people do, especially if they're fountain pen users. That's quite a common practice for fountain pen users because it forces you to hold your pen at 45 degrees, which is the ideal placement for a fountain pen or for a calligrapher. A lot of calligraphers hold their pens like that because that's the best way of holding your pen at 45 degrees to the paper and 45-degree angle to the page. But that's really comfortable if you have, like I have issues with this tendon here. So on days when my thumb is really bad, I will hold my pen like that. But I also hold my pen like that sometimes. So not when I'm streaming, because then you can't see what I'm doing. But I quite often draw like that as well. Might be the thickness of the pen. Some people need thicker pens and some people need skinny ones. Your hand aches and gets tired sooner than you'd like. Yep, or use a writing aid. Go in a kids learning centre. I don't know where you are, Maria, but like we've got early learning centres here, which is for educational toys and help assisting aids for kids. And you can get these triangular things that you stick on a pen that make it easier for a kid to hold it. You can do the same for adults. You can get the same things for adults. Go on Amazon. You'll find them on Amazon. Or just nick one of your dog's tennis balls, stick a hole in either side, cut a cross in either end, stick your pen through that. That works too. If it's more of a, oh, I've been writing too long and now my hand aches, that is lactose in your muscles and your tendons tightening up. Soak your hand in Epsom salts in water. Warm water, as hot as you can take it without scalding yourself, and Epsom salts. And it will leach the lactose out of your muscles and it will reduce the hand aches. And the warm water helps as well. But also, Tyler is correct. It might be the thickness of the pen. I used to like skinny pens. I always liked really, really thin pens. The thinner, the better. And over the years, as my arthritis has kicked in, etc., I've gone to chunkier barrels because they're just more comfortable to hold. And triangular pencils especially. I've got a triangular drawing pencil, mechanical pencil, and it is so nice to hold. It's a Faber-Castell and it's really chunky. And also colouring pencils. These are only highlighters, but Faber-Castell does a set of grip pencils for kids. They're thick and they're chunky and they've got grips and they're triangular, so they're really easy to hold. There's my triangular pencil. It's really thick and chunky. It's not thin and skinny like this one. So if my hand's hurting, I use this one. Oh, triangular pencils are a big thing over here because Faber-Castell does a lot of triangular stuff. And especially triangular grip for kids. Kids' pencils, kids' pens, triangular, loads of them. Loads of them. Faber-Castell does a lot of different ones. You can even get triangular colouring pencils. Anyway, it's 3:15, so I'm going to stop. Now, the lag is real, y'all. So what I'm going to do is what I did yesterday. I still haven't got an end screen. That's something I need to work on at some point. Transferring my scenes over from my Mac to the laptop. There's one with a hair tie that's like hair tie with 2 loops. Yes. Yes. It's for people who struggle to grip. I got my dad one and it's just a loop that goes on the pen, but it's only got 1 loop and he puts his middle finger through it because he can't bend this finger. He's got no grip and strength in this finger. So he can still write because he puts his finger through the loop. All sorts of writing aids. Anyway, yeah, we're stopping there. I will turn the sound off and go to a blank screen, turn the cameras off, etc. But I'll leave the stream running until I reach the blank screen on here, because otherwise we won't actually get to the end of the stream. It will cut it off. Right now I'm on the screen telling Maria about Epsom salts because I was going like this. So that's how far behind the screen is. So yes, I will mute everything, go to a blank screen, leave the stream running until the actual broadcast finishes. So I will see you, what day is it? Thursday. I'll see you next week. See you next week. Don't forget to follow me over on Patreon if you want to get updates for when I'm streaming and things like that, and other general stuff. It doesn't cost anything to follow on Patreon. You don't have to join. Or follow me on Instagram. I usually post on my stories when I'm going to go live. See you again next week. Bye.